Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast Wednesday morning. Here we are. It's the 2nd of August. Hope that you had a good start to the month yesterday. And had a busy day on yesterday, but certainly was a good one. Was able to even go visit one of my men in the hospital, Brother Tiger. And while on my way out, was able to lead a young lady to Christ. She has two twins that are preemies and been in the hospital for a couple of weeks. But the Lord was able to lead me across her path, and that's always good to be able to see somebody who's maybe just looking for something and they find Christ. And that's always a good thing there. Hope that you're looking forward now to the Wednesday night Bible study tonight as we continue our series on the Christian home. Maranatha Baptist Church, let's be in our place. Let's end the summer out in the right way on a top note. Let's make sure that we don't take a dip at all. Let's keep going forward as we prepare for the fall time of the year. Always a good time just to stay busy for the Lord. And I hope that you're doing that as well. Well, today, let's talk about the search for ease. In 2 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 4, the scripture says, "Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee." Now, when Solomon died, the people came to Rehoboam, and they asked him to ease the workload that his father had put upon them. For some reason, they thought Solomon was too hard on them, but they surely did enjoy the blessings that the heavy burden brought while Solomon was alive. You see, the desire for ease was the beginning of the end for the people of Judah. They eased the standard, but they brought in the beginning steps toward destruction. They should have just continued to do what Solomon did, and they would have continued to see the blessings that the load brought. Now, we are often creatures who desire ease from the burden when we don't realize that the load of the burden is what brings blessings. Many churches have eased up on what a previous pastor did, a pastor who God blessed, only to see that the church lost the blessings, shrink in size, and eventually compromised and died. Many young adults want to ease up on what their parents did to make them who they are. And they don't realize that what their parents did is what made them the individual they are today. If to say that your parents were too hard on you, say that you're not a good person. Just think about that statement. You're indicting yourself. A rebellious, lazy, and entitled generation has come because parents eased up on their children to the destruction of their children's future. Now, we don't need to ease the road. What we need to do, or ease the load of the burden, that makes greatness. But what we need to continue is the burden, so the blessings will continue. There's four thoughts I want to give to you about this thing about searching for ease. First, the destruction of a generation is looking to ease what the previous generation did. Great nations and great churches were built under the burden of work and sacrifice, and not with the ease of leisure. When we try to change what brought the blessings to the previous generation, we bring destruction to the future generation. Those who did not have to sacrifice to enjoy the burden that the previous generation endured don't understand how the burden is what made them and brought God's blessings on them. We must not seek to ease what the previous generation did, but we should seek to continue what they taught us. Second, greatness is built by the pressure and work of the burden. Burdens reveal the areas that must be corrected to bring blessings. To ease the burden so the cracks won't be revealed by the pressure of the burden only causes the cracks in character to get worse. Now, you cannot hand greatness to someone who's never been tested by the burden. Great leaders are discovered under the pressure of the burden and the weight of the workload. You take that pressure away and you're not going to find any leader. Third, you can't ease somewhat without losing the blessing that the load brought. To ease is to change what brought the blessings. So everything about the pressure and the workload is part of the recipe for blessing. So once you ease up just a bit on the pressure and the workload, you begin to turn off what brought the blessings. Understand, all together is what brought the blessing. You start looking up, you lose. All of a sudden, now the blessing no longer comes. For ease leads to casual, and casual leads to casualty. We have to understand that it's easing up on the standards, the workload, the methods, and the pressure to produce is what leads to a casual society, just easing up a little bit. Every country, every church, or individual who became casual always became a casualty. If we don't want to become a casualty, we should not seek to be casual by easing the burden, the workload, or the standard that brought God's blessings on us. If I want God's blessings, I keep doing. Is it easy? No. Do I enjoy the blessing? Yes. And I'm telling you right now, what happens is this. Okay, let me explain. So what happens is you have a generation that says, I want to ease a little bit. Well, when you ease, you stop doing what brings the blessing. So the blessing stops coming. Because it stops coming, get this now, though we are doing what the previous generation did, but not with the same intensity and desire, what happens is because we eased somewhat, we left what brought the blessing. Therefore, what we are doing doesn't seem to work. Because it doesn't work, then we start looking for new ways to do things, which leads to compromise, which leads to people and churches changing completely who they are, hoping to find that blessing again. Well, the blessing is going back to what brought it, and that is the pressure, the load, the burden that the previous generation did to bring us the blessings that we had. Now, if you don't want to lose those blessings, don't ease the workload. Don't ease the burden. Don't ease the effort. You keep going all the way like they did before, and the blessings keep on coming. But the second you lose, you let up. The second you ease up is when the blessing stops. And that cycle begins to happen. That leads to compromise, destruction, people going to hell because we thought that ease. I'm just going to ease up a bit. That's the danger. Don't ever ease up. You do what's right, and God will bless us if we keep doing it. God gives us strength. It's not that he doesn't. He does. Let's do what we ought to do, and God will bless. Well, my friend, I hope this is a help to you. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.